So we all say that we want to get a certain number of clients each month, certain number of sales each month, and just in general, a certain number of dollars in our pockets each month and each year from our business. We all want to say that we want to get in shape, we want to meditate more, we want to read more. And of course, many of us just set very big goals to push ourselves forward in our businesses and in our lives. But proper goal setting is far, far from easy, and achieving goals that you actually set is oftentimes a whole lot harder. And obviously, the key to actually setting a goal and ultimately achieving it is to stay motivated. You know, at the end of the day, if you set a goal, no matter what it is, if you can manage to stay motivated and actually do the work it takes to get that end result, then you're ultimately going to achieve it, right? But of course, that's not always as simple and easy as it is, especially when we set a wide range of different goals. And at the end of the day, it's just very, very difficult for many of us to stay motivated to actually reach our goals. And there's a lot of reasons for that. So today I'm going to talk about 3 tips that I use and implement into my life to make it easier to achieve my goals and also push myself to achieve even larger goals than I would normally set as well. So tip number 1 here is to redevelop yourself. So we all say we want to get better, we want a bigger business, we want more clients, we want more sales, like I mentioned before. We all say all these different things, but at the end of the day, the person who you are today, the person I am today, is not the same person who's going to be able to achieve my goal that I've set for a year from now. So say you want to 4x your sales in the next year. The person you are today is not going to be able to do that. And of course, some of you guys may be, but for the most part, the person who we are today is not the same person that's going to be able to achieve our long-term goals. So, say I have a goal to be able to bench 225 pounds 10 times. The person that I am today is not going to be able to do that. I'm going to have to become a new version of myself, a stronger, more healthy version, a bigger version of myself to be able to actually achieve that goal. So that's from a physical sense, but it's also true when it comes to a mental sense and your performance in your business and just other habits and goals in your life as well. You have to transform who you are and grow in order to achieve bigger goals that are out of reach at this time. So with this first tip, I really mean that you need to change your perspective and change the way that you look at how you're going to go about actually achieving your goals and understand that the person you are today cannot achieve those goals. So with that, you can make a big shift in your habits and how you actually approach your goals to knowing that you need to develop and grow as a person. You need to learn more. You need to test more. Maybe you need to invest more money. Maybe take another course, run some more ads, talk to more people, practice sales. All these different things you need to actually do, actions you need to take to actually achieve that end goal, right? So for another example here, say that you want to sign 4 clients next month, but with the way you've been running your business now, you've only signed 1 or 2 clients each month and not 4. So you want to almost double or even quadruple the number of clients that you bring on. So the person you are today cannot do that. You're going to have to implement new habits, new tasks, new outreach methods, maybe increase your conversion rates on your sales calls, and learn all these different things to be able to do that. And once you go from point A, where you don't know those things, to point B, where you do know those things and you can sign more clients, you are a different person than you were at point A. So, you know, this is true in multiple different scales and different ways you can look at it. Like, I'm a different person right now than I was when I woke up this morning. You know, I experienced new things, I saw new things, but it's also on a larger scale to when you grow and you change as a person. Every time you take in information and you implement new habits and tasks and really level up your skill set as well. So start doing things to redevelop yourself, to grow as a person, and become the version of yourself that's actually going to be able to achieve those goals that you set. So that's tip number 1. So that right there is tip number 1, to redevelop yourself. Tip number 2 here is going to sound very simple, but really it's more in depth than what I'm about to say here. But tip number 2 is to just not set unattainable goals. So there's a lot of different ways that you could approach this and really define what an unattainable goal is. One version of an unattainable goal is for me to say that, like, I want to be 7 feet tall, and that's a goal that I have. So I want to do things that are going to help me grow to become 7 foot tall. That's obviously not a good goal. It's completely unattainable. Another version of an unattainable goal is for me to say that I want to sign 10 clients this month when I have never done that before, ever, right? I'm just not going to get that. The time frame is too short, all these different things. Maybe I want to sign, 10,000 clients. That's not really an attainable goal. Maybe that could potentially happen in some way, shape, or form, but that's not something that is going to necessarily be attainable to be able to stick to and actually deliver on. But really, why that's true, so if we take that number down a little bit, so let's say I want to sign 1,000 clients. That could technically be possible, and of course there's agencies that do that. But the issue with that is that's an unattainable goal because it's nearly impossible to set that type of goal and stay motivated to do that. So another version of a very similar type there would be, I'm going to go to the gym every single day this year. That is pretty much an unattainable goal. Because you can have an unattainable goal that, even though it's possible, like I definitely could go to the gym every single day of the year, I would say that's an unattainable goal because your focus and motivation to actually get that done has to be at such a high degree to actually deliver on it that it's probably not going to happen, right? So you need to find the line between what's actually impossible to what is theoretically possible, and really where your motivation and the possibility to actually deliver on a goal lies, and that's going to be different for every person depending on how motivated and focused that you are. So here are some quick tips on how to approach goals and set goals to make sure that they fall in a place where they're challenging for you to achieve, but they're still low enough for you to be able to stay motivated, focused, and driven to actually achieve them and take yourself to the next level. So just don't make them all massive. You can set small goals. You don't need to set yearly income goals that you want to hit. You can go weekly or monthly, and start small, okay? Small goals are oftentimes really, really good goals. I set daily goals, okay? And there should be different degrees of goals that you set as well. So have daily goals, weekly goals, monthly goals, quarterly goals, and yearly goals, right? And all those different things, and have those different degrees, right? And that transition includes the second tip here is to set time constraints. Okay, so say I want to get something done this week. If I don't get it done this week, then I owe someone $10, or I have to get it done this week, or else this or that. Like I had to go to the gym 3 times this week. So then if Friday comes around and I haven't gone to the gym at all, I have no choice. I have to go Friday, Saturday, Sunday and get it done. Okay, this goes for like homework assignments or client work. I have to get this project done by Friday. Commit to your clients, put it on the calendar for Friday, and force yourself to get stuff done in a certain time frame, and the likelihood that you're actually going to achieve that goal and get it done is going to be way higher, right? That really helps eliminate procrastination. So next year is have small micro goals to hit to allow you to see tangible progress as you go through a goal. So say like you want to write a book or create a webinar or something like that. Create small goals like create a certain number of slides or write a certain number of chapters, and have those small achievements throughout the whole process instead of saying, I want to create a webinar by this week or I want to write a book by this date. Have small incremental goals that you can hit so you can start building momentum. Reward yourself for hitting those goals, and that is also going to greatly increase the likelihood that you're actually going to achieve that goal. And with that, you're going to be able to build momentum. So if I do 10 slides on Monday or 10 slides on Tuesday and 10 slides on Wednesday, then I have all that momentum that I'm building up that's going to push me to keep going after that goal and build that motivation. Momentum fuels motivation. The more momentum you have, the more motivation you're going to have to keep going. So that's tip number 2, to not set unattainable goals and structure your goal setting in a way that's going to set you up for success. Now, a lot of those things flow into each other that I mentioned. Of course, there's tons of different tips that you can look into, videos you can watch, things you can look up online to how to set better goals, like SMART goals and things like that. So I definitely recommend that you go learn more about that. But what I just laid out there is the basis to approaching your goals to make them achievable, push yourself forward, and have it done in a time frame that's actually reasonable. So finally, tip number 3 here to setting good goals and actually achieving them is to not aim for perfection. So many of us are perfectionists. We want the slides to look perfect. We want the website to look perfect. We want the campaign results to be perfect. We want the Photoshop file to look perfect. All these things, we work to making things perfect. We want the video edit to be perfect. Let's take just this YouTube video for example. So say it takes me 30 minutes to edit this video, but the timing and the cuts isn't perfect. The color grading's not perfect, the lighting's not perfect, there's some edits I can make to make it better, the audio levels aren't perfect, there's all these different things. So I could spend that 30 minutes, get a solid cut, put it up on YouTube. Or I could spend the next 30 minutes trying to fine-tune those small things. And then after that's done, in reality, it's still not going to be perfect. So I can spend another 30 minutes, or maybe even another hour, tweaking and fine-tuning things again. So I have something there that, of course, is much more close to being perfect than the first edit I put together before I did those revisions. But in reality, instead of just taking that first 30-minute edit, exporting it and uploading it to YouTube, now I doubled that time and maybe even tripled or quadrupled that time fine-tuning things. So I spent maybe 2 hours instead of 30 minutes editing that video. So in that time, I could have shot and edited a whole nother YouTube video, right? Or I could have gone and worked on some other campaigns or another aspect of my business, but instead I spent it fine-tuning that video. So there's no doubt that certain things need fine-tuning. You can definitely improve certain things, and there's different degrees of perfection that are necessary for certain projects. But ask yourself this question, and this is something I ask myself. If I spend an extra 30 minutes editing this video, is it going to be that much better and give me a result that is that much better than if I just took the 30-minute edit and uploaded it? Probably 90% of the time, it's going to be no. It's not going to make that big of a difference. Let's be honest, do you really care if my color grading's a little bit better, or the timing of my cuts is a little bit better, if I don't stumble on a word and I repeat it or cut it out, or any of those things? Is that going to make a big difference in the purpose of the video, which is to transfer the knowledge and the words coming out of my mouth to you? No, probably not. And I see a lot of people deal with this, and this is something that I dealt with as well, because you can spend so much time trying to get things done, trying to start your business, getting ready to reach out to your perfect client, setting up your LinkedIn and your website, and choosing a name and making a logo, and choosing color schemes, and all these different tasks that at the end of the day aren't even necessary and you don't need to spend the time on. Instead, you can just streamline that, not aim for perfection and having everything set up perfectly, because that every minute that you spend doing that, you're not taking action. You're not actually uploading the video. You're not shooting another video. You're not reaching out to prospects. Okay, and that's how you need to treat your time. So don't aim for perfection, because that is going to prevent you from hitting your goals. But don't get me wrong. Don't put out a piece of crap that you're not proud of, that nobody wants to see, that's not actually going to get the result that you want out of putting something out there and doing a certain task. Don't do that. But consider the fact that something you think might be a piece of crap, something that you're not super proud of, taking that versus something that you are really proud of, putting that out there in front of the same person, there might not be any difference in those two objects. So like a better edited video and a less time spent on video edit, that might have the same exact effect on somebody watching the video, even though you might not be proud of one of them. So you got to consider that as well. And don't let your own perceptions of what you think is perfect and okay to put out there impact those results either. Think about other people and how it's going to be perceived by others. Because at the end of the day, done and imperfect is always going to be better than not done and on its way to being perfect. Okay? Because you're never going to end up getting that done instead of having something done, put out there, and taking action. Because that, at the end of the day, is what's going to drive you forward. So, those are my 3 tips on how to set better goals. Start implementing some of these things in your life. Have that structure. Redevelop yourself. Don't set unattainable goals. And don't aim for perfection. And a lot of those tips that I laid out and underneath all of those different things can be managed and implemented in your life really easily with something like Google Calendar or taking notes and putting more structure into your life to allow you to actually stick to that, to mark certain dates when you have deadlines and all these different things. Because at the end of the day, if you're not tracking that, if you can't see that, if you can't visualize that, if you don't know what those things are, then you're just shooting in the dark anyway. If I say I want to get something done by Friday, but I don't write it down or put it in my calendar, Friday's going to come along and I'm not even going to remember it and of course not even do it. So because of that, I highly, highly recommend that you use Google Calendar to take care of all those types of tasks. I use Google Calendar every single day of my life, and I have for years now. It really runs my life. So I think it's so important, and I think everybody should use it so much to deliver on their goals, that I actually put together a completely free 3-part video series training, just kind of like YouTube videos like this, breaking down how to use Google Calendar effectively to implement things into your life and better achieve your goals, be more productive, and just grow as a person. Again, that's a completely free training that I put together on exactly how to do that. And you can find the link to that down in the description below, so go check it out. But with all that being said, that's all I have for you here today. Let me know in the comments below what goals you're going to be setting and if these tips here help you actually achieve them. Signing off for now. See ya.
You can't touch this. Can't touch this. Can't touch this.